Hey there, how you doing? How you holding up? Doing all right? Yeah. Okay. So here's the plan. I am gonna spend uh, basically going into next year, really focusing on non-domestic foreign spirits, and it's not because I'm angry at my country. It's not. It's because in 2 months and change, our foreign trade is going to be thrown into basically a random number generator. Are there going to be tariffs? I don't know. There'll probably be tariffs. What are they going to be? 10%? 200%? I got no idea. No one knows. I don't even think they know. So it's time to get some orders in if you have a shopping list, and so I'm going to try to help out with that by giving you useful consumer advice. And we're going to start this journey with Ardnahoe. Ardnahoe, the newest, it won't be newest for long, but it is the newest distillery on Islay. This is their inaugural release. Everyone else reviewed this, oh, it's backwards. Everyone else reviewed this back in like July. I am just now getting to it, but this is really cool. So this is Jim McEwan's last big gift to the world. It's a distillery on the northeast coast of Islay, right in between Kalila and Bunnahabhain. And the setup is really, really, really interesting. So you're talking about heavily peated whiskey, 40 ppms going into the still. You're talking about, but then you're talking about like big, fairly fat, tall stills. So you're going to get a fruitier spirit. But then you're talking about long lyne and you're talking about condensation in worm tubs, which is the old way of doing it that produces a kind of a grungier, heavier sort of spirit. So yeah, I wanted to try this. This is pricing on this has been interesting. I've seen a lot of places like $80 or so for this, but it's also like it's also gone considerably higher than that. So, and I think it has something to do with the chaos in pricing in Scotch whiskey right now. But it needs a sparring partner. And what are we going to do for that? We are going to do Kilchoman. Kilchoman, and it is a line from Kilchoman I've never ever tried before. This is their 100% Islay line. And what is this? Okay, so you know Kilchoman at this point. It used to be the newest distillery on Islay. It no longer is. And most of what they make is they're sourcing malt from Port Ellen. Like everyone, I don't know if, given the happenings at Port Ellen, I'm not sure exactly what the plan is, but that has been standard procedure. But they also have this, and this is their completely in-house Springbanky line. So they have their own farm where they grow barley. It is what do they call this? Publican barley. I have no idea what that means. And then they malt it themselves. They peat smoke it themselves, and they do everything themselves. And it's actually slightly less peated. It's only about 20 ppms. But I'm really excited to try this. It's the 2022 edition from barley grown and distilled in 2011, 12, 13. So it's basically 8 years old. Mix of bourbon barrels and a little bit of Oloroso. Bottled to 50% and unchill filter. And I'm going to get this Ardnahoe pour 2, but I will give you the details on this thing when we come to it. All right. First, the Kilchoman. Interesting. It's all right. So you have to understand my preconceptions coming into this. I like Kilchoman. I don't buy a lot of Kilchoman because I find it a little bit. It's a little bit too much like just Isla for me. Like it gives a lot of like Kalila with a little bit of Lagavulin in there. And I like both of those distilleries, and I like Kilchoman, but usually, well, okay, usually I just buy Kalila or Lagavulin. But given how the pricing and the batch variations on those two distilleries have been recently, maybe Kilchoman Standard Line deserves another look. Anyways, this does not. This is a different style. It's actually so it's very very soft. It's very floral, but not Bowmore floral. It's kind of its own thing. Let me try to break this down. So there's peat, there's maritime peat. So peat plus seawater, but very clean. Again, less peat than standard Ardmore, and you can tell. So sort of, it presents more like Ardmore-ish levels of peat. There's some like just straight up blossoms, honestly. Plus something grainy, almost like muesli that's been kind of marinating for a while. There's also a leafiness to this. There's like some kelp, some seaweed, almost like an old cigar butt. Slightly ashy. Then you got some nice woody notes too. Vanilla, kind of an old diner coffee thing, but nice. When like you go into the diner and it's like 3 p.m. and there's been a pot of coffee sitting on the warmer for like 2 hours without having been touched. A little bit of that again, but nice. It's subtle. Maybe like some almost like a buttercream kind of thing. It's weird. It's very leafy. It's very like seaweedy, but at the same time, it's also very like creamy and sweety and buttercreamy. Maybe some key lime peel in there. Actually, you know what this reminds me of? I don't let this get out because pricing will go stupid, but it reminds me a lot of some Japanese malts I've had. Hakushu comes to mind. It's that same mix of like elegance and refinement with a little bit of grunge and a hint of peat. There's a little bit of like let's stick with Hakushu. That's the first thing that comes to mind. On the palate, again, kind of the first thing that comes to mind is Japan. And Hakushu. It's complex. It's got structure, but it's just very for something that absolutely brings a lot of leafiness, a lot of peat, a lot of pepper and power. There's an understated elegance to this, which is really fun. But it's also really grungy. Mostly carries over from the nose. Maritime peat, dried flowers, that cigar butt thing again, like coffee, grungy coffee, vanilla, kelp, pu'er tea, even a little bit of a mustard seed kind of thing. Fun. Cream of wheat, some kind of like graininess. Hints of fruitiness too, maybe like a little toasted kiwi. I'm gonna say apricot, but it's really like apricot pit or maybe like unripe apricot. I mean, it presents very, very like just creamy. There's a certain creaminess to this. So peppered up black pepper cream covering your entire mouth. Mouth length isn't that great. It's kind of stopping right behind my molars. Finish holds on very well. Peat always helps with the finish. Or it's hard to think of cases where it doesn't, in any case. It's nice. It's different. I don't know if I'm gonna. I don't think I'm gonna score this into the stratosphere. It's not that kind of malt, but it's. It feels like a new take, or not a new take, but a take on the style I haven't tried before, and that's absolutely worth something. So let's give this like 2 squirts of water. We'll come back to it and try the new guy. Kilchoman is the old newcomer, and now it is the new newcomer's name. So yeah, what do I have to say about this? Yeah, new distillery. Production really headed up by Jim McEwan of Bruichladdich, Bowmore fame. And yeah, but it's Hunter Laing, the independent bottler, actually footing the bills for this thing. A similar kind of cask mix. So you're talking ex-bourbon, you're talking ex-Oloroso, 50% ABV, but this is 5 years old as opposed to 8. So I don't know what. So I mean, it's a fun comparison here, right? Different sides of the island. Ardnahoe's got the worm tubs. It's got fairly long fermentation by Islay standards. So, like, I think like 70 hours, something close to 3 days. But Kilchoman has even longer fermentation. They will push it up to 5 days sometimes. So I don't know. I don't know who wins this. All right. Ardnahoe, inaugural release, 5-year-old on the nose. Whoa, that's different. Here's not what I expected to say. This smells almost ginny. There's a botanical kind of thing going on here. So yeah, like burned juniper, some toasted lemon peel maybe. It's very ashy. This is fun. Grungy. It's very grungy, very austere. Maritime peat. There's some like medicinal iodine kind of stuff going on. Laphroaig fans, come right on in. Actually, no, I'm gonna have to correct that because this does not. Laphroaig, particularly modern Laphroaig, still leans into a kind of friendly, fudgy sort of direction. This is not that. Yeah, okay. There's some vanilla here. There's a hint of like Swisher Sweets, the cheap flavored cigars, which is a sherry cask note. But it's so edgy. It's like coal smoke, navel orange. Surprising amount of fruit, but it's so like yeah, austere is the only word I can come up with. Baked apple, baked mango. It's like a little top note of like maybe some acacia, or like also like like I'm smelling a wet fern or something right now. Just like a wet plants. Yeah. Okay. I mean, I'm not going to say this is not what I was expecting because worm tubs plus Islay. Yeah, this feels about right. On the palate. It's still going. And it's not just the peat. Oh, this has got the sauce. I like the Kilchoman, but this is in terms of absolute quality. Um, this is a brute. This is austere as you know what, but it has got a lot going on. Let me try this one more time. It's brutal. It's edgy but in the best way. I mean, so what are you getting? You're getting peat, seawater, coal smoke, old iodine bandages. Then it gets fun. There's like a fried green tomatoes note, which is normally something I get in like rums. I expect that in Worthy Parks. I expect that in Clarence, not from Islay. That gin thing, the botanical juniper lemon peel thing. Hint of fig, Swisher sweet. Orange, baked apple. Mango. A little bit of like an oolong tea kind of thing. And you get some cask stuff. You're getting vanilla, little s'mores to kind of relieve it a little bit. Not that much, but a little bit. Some black pepper, a lot of black pepper, tons of black pepper. But also like black bread, black sourdough rye bread from the Baltic states. And a slight something herbaceous, but in a very different way from the Kilchoman, maybe like an oregano kind of thing. And the mouthfeel it's peppery as well, but it's very, very, very viscous. It's oily, and it just hangs and hangs and hangs. You can tell this is young spirit, but there's a lot to it. The casks aren't hurting it, but it's the spirit doing the lifting here, and that's very impressive. This is good stuff. Yeah, well done. We'll add some water to this, see what happens. Back to the Kilchoman. Kilchoman, 100% Islay, 12th edition. Now with some water. When I name the notes, they're going to sound similar in some ways, and they are similar in some ways, but this is just so much brighter and cleaner and happier, and so much more understated. Change with water, maybe a little more vanilla coming out, shows a little bit of like a lemon bar thing now. It's still very leafy, which I like. It's still got that kind of like seaweed thing. Okay, on the palate. Not a ton of development. The mouthfeel kind of firms up a little bit. Pepper steps forward. It's still creamy in the mouth, but it's the pepper like edges out the creaminess just a little bit. It's ashy, it's leafy, it's kelpy. But it's very crushable, this stuff. And it's very special. It's, how do I score this? Okay, so here's the problem. in terms of absolute quality, well, we'll get to the Ardnahoe. In terms of absolute quality, assuming this doesn't fall on his face when I try it again, the Kilchoman is just not quite on the same level. It isn't, but I still like it. I actually like it quite a lot. It's not, the finish doesn't hang on super long. It's a touch short in the mouth length. I'm still gonna give this like an 87. I mean, it's a lovely, it's a lovely bottle, and it's something special. Like, let me put it this way: if you are already spending 120 plus dollars on limited editions from the big distilleries, and you're getting kind of bored with them because they all just kind of roll into the same kind of flavor profile, same patterns, after a while, grab yourself a bottle of this. Take a punt on this, because it's Islay, but it's different. It's just its own kind of style, its own kind of vibe. I've had better Kilchomans than this, from their other ranges. I don't think I've had one with as much personality as this. And yeah, maybe I can leave it there. 87 points, worth a look. But I do not think it is going to win this flight. Back to the Ardnahoe. It is so austere. It is so just... I mean, you throw it to a maniac like me, and I'm smiling, I'm giggling. You throw this like a regular person who, maybe their main experience with peat is trying, I don't even know, like Green Label once. They're gonna have no idea what is going on. Like, what even is this? It smells like peaty sauteed onions, and I love it. No, except there's more fruit in there. So like you dump a whole bunch of like weird fruit into your peaty sauteed onions. Development, maybe a little bit more black pepper now. But it doesn't develop much, but it's also, hey, remember, this is a 5-year-old whiskey. So yeah. Here we go, on the palate. That mouthfeel is just killer. It just coats the entire mouth. And it just hangs there. It just grabs on and does not let go. It's actually got better length in the mouth. It's still not really, hitting my lungs at all, but this 5-year-old has got better mouth length than the Kilchoman does at 8. And the finish is very, 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 very long, and yeah, it just dominates my entire mouth. On presence alone, even though, in terms of flavors, is this developing a whole lot from where it was before? No, it's bringing up the grunge a little bit, actually. So I feel like I'm chewing on solder or something now, in a good way. But yeah, just in terms of presence, this puts down the Kilchoman. I'm sorry. Oh, it's so gross. I love it. You know what? I'm gonna amend my score on the Kilchoman, because it doesn't deserve to go out like this. I'm gonna call this an 87 smiley face. You know why? Because it makes me happy. It makes me happy that things that are different, that aren't just for point grubbers like me, exist in this world. Like whiskeys that just exist for people who want to drink something for pleasure and something that's a little bit different. This gets an 87 smiley face. Meanwhile, the Ardnahoe, this is an 89 pointer. I can't quite get to 90. It wouldn't take me much. I mean, yeah, 89 points. If you are new to peated whiskey, Islay, all that stuff, do not look at the score and go out and buy this, because you will just have no idea what's about to hit you in the face. Go buy Ardbeg 10 or something. Try some other things, then come back and try this guy. Again, watch your pricing. Don't pay $6 million for this bottle. It's good. It's not that good. They're gonna come. Later stuff is gonna be better than this, which is terrifying considering how good this is already. Yeah. 89 points. And yeah, that's the video. More foreign spirits for you to consider buying for tariffs or no tariffs hit in January. More to come. 87 smiley face, 89 points. Thanks for watching and cheers.